This day in Sioux Falls history.
This day in Sioux Falls history is brought to you by Thomas James and Bechtold Jewelry, the oldest jewelry store in South Dakota, using time-tested techniques to restore and repair jewelry and using the latest technology to create custom pieces. Thomas James and Bechtold Jewelry, 325 South Phillips Avenue in downtown Sioux Falls. It was on this day, March 4th, 1865, Brigadier General William Henry Harrison Beadle commands the Honor Guard leading the procession of President Abraham Lincoln's second inaugural address. Just a little over a month later, Beadle would be a part of Lincoln's funeral procession. William Beadle was just a young man at the time of these events, but would go on to become a prominent citizen right here in Sioux Falls and a pioneer in the establishment of a quality public education in South Dakota. 4 short years after playing his part in Lincoln's tragedy, Beadle was appointed by President Ulysses S. Grant to the post of Surveyor General of the Dakota Territory. During his time living in Sioux Falls, the Dakota Territory became the state of South Dakota. He was here for about 40 years until 1912 when he retired and moved to San Francisco. Beadle's crowning achievement came in 1885 during one of South Dakota's rogue attempts at creating a state government without the consent of Congress in Washington, D.C. Part of that failed attempt was to write and vote on a state constitution. In this document, William Beadle authored a beautiful provision of laws and standards outlining the reservation of public state land for free public schools, and prescribed a plan for the proper implementation of public school instruction. When South Dakota was finally legally admitted as a state a few years later in 1889, they reused much of what was written by Beadle in 1885. Senators and congressmen in D.C. were so impressed with Beadle's section about the public schools, they made it a mandatory addition to the constitutions of North Dakota, Montana, Washington, Idaho, and Wyoming as well. Beadle spent years living in Sioux Falls and teaching at Washington High School, but his true passion was found when he accepted the offer to become the president of the Madison State Normal School. That was a teacher's college, and it would go on to become Dakota State University. He was the president there for 7 years and a professor of history for more than 23 years before his retirement. It takes a pretty remarkable person to be remembered for achieving something far greater than being a war hero and leading the procession of a presidential inauguration and eventually a presidential funeral. But William Henry Harrison Beadle was that remarkable man, and Sioux Falls and South Dakota are greater for it. This day in Sioux Falls history has been brought to you by Thomas James and Bechtold Jewelry.
Hi, this is Thomas James with Thomas James and Bechtold Jewelry. We're absolutely honored to be able to look back on the history of Sioux Falls because we feel we're part of that. But we always look forward to the future and working with your grandchildren. It's more than jewelry, it's love. Come and see us at Thomas James and Bechtold Jewelry at 325 South Phillips Avenue, downtown Sioux Falls.